So you want to rig up your character inside of Blender. You've made something, but now you want it to be able to move. Of course you do. So today we're going to go over two very quick ways to do that. The first one is that you have set for it, obviously.
Sorry, my mom just asking me to take the trash, but I'm busy here.
You can add a new armature, basic, and either of your mesh so they won't like get lost inside of it. And from here, you just highlight the meta rig.
This live stream's gonna be boring, isn't it?
And you go to edit mode and you try to line up the bones as best you can. It doesn't have to be very exact, but you probably want it to be at least somewhat accurate. So let me do that.
Useless tutorial here.
So if you're clicking on this video, there's a chance you may want to learn how to do. Go to download, and we're just going to leave it dropped in.
If you watched the last video, then you have these characters politely standing still, and you probably want to make them move around and stuff. So we're going to do some rigging to make that happen. I'll cover making an armature, setting up IK constraints, some other constraint stuff, weight painting tips, line up the hip area. I'll press S and X to scale it out until the knees are kind of edgy. So first thing I'm going to do is come up here and turn on wireframe so we can actually see the real verts. And before I start editing this directly, I'm going to make a duplicate of this collection. In case we mess something up, we have something to go back to. So you can right click it and go to duplicate collection, and I'll hide the duplicate right here. Now, I want to add some more loop cuts to this shirt right here so that it deforms a little better, and we should also pay attention to the topology of the arm underneath right here. You can see it has quite a few loop cuts compared to our coat right here, which doesn't have that many, and these should match up pretty closely, otherwise when the arm bends, the arm might poke through the clothes. Control R to add loop cuts, and we can use the scroll wheel to add 3. The shape changing as you add loops is just a thing that happens when you use the subdiv modifier. And if you want to be able to add loop cuts without changing the shape too much, you can check out the final topology add-on. It's the only add-on I've seen that actually tries to make this workflow easier. It's not free, but I think it's worth the money if you use it as much as I do. So I just like to add a few loops where I need them. Let's properties, the little running person, and you'll only see this if you have the armature selected. So you can click that, go down to viewport display, and turn on in front.
I destruidor. Sorry, my stepdad just yelling at me. He's gonna be so burned that I'm kind of starting to forget here.
I'm also going to turn on names and axes. This might look a bit cluttered right now, but we can always shut this off later. So let's look from the front, tab into edit mode, and we can start lining things up. So this is going to be for our hip, and I'm actually going to switch over to solid view and X-ray with Alt-Z, and we can line this up right around here with the bottom of the body, which is this sphere on the inside. And I'll put this at the top of the sphere. We can E to extrude, then press Z and bring it up to about the bottom of the head. This is going to be for the neck. And if you want to have more control in the shape of the back, you can subdivide this. Just right click and subdivide once. Let's select the top part of this bone right here, E to extrude, Z, and bring it to the top of the head. Now we can rename some of these as we're going. So we can select it and press F2, and I'll name this hips. This can be spine. And I actually don't want this to influence the mesh once it rigs up. This is just going to help us control the arm. So if you don't want something to actually deform the mesh, go down to bone properties right here, and you can uncheck deform. And this just makes it so that when you do automatic weights, it just doesn't give it any weight at all. Now from here, we can extrude this on the x-axis like that, maybe up to the wrist. E to extrude, X. To add an elbow, I'll select this, right click and subdivide. And I'll press 7 to look from the top, and we can set the hand up. So E and X, and I'm just going completely optional, but it's a good way tapping options. So I like to set this to volume right here. Leg, I'll press Alt Z to go into the tail location over here. Like this, which is what I want. You know, a leg I think is going to rotate like this most often. We can do the same thing for the knee, like that, and that works right. You know, you wouldn't really expect it to copy everything to the other side, and if it had a click and choose symmetrize, and that's just going